Therefore, without further ado, I would like to invite the first speaker, Mr. Jeffrey, from Community Organization from Prihatin-Kerajaan. Please welcome.
Hello, good morning, everybody. It's certainly very exciting for us to be here. Thank you for taking time to attend this very last session. Immediately after this session is the closing ceremony, right? So, but like they say, last but not least, okay. I was sitting down earlier on and listening to the health talk earlier on, and many people, whether they talk about resilience of the cities or health, they always talk about multi-sectorial. So I think our program here this afternoon is going to deal with a very complicated issue of multi-sectorial partnership. All right, we hope that you will gain something from this particular session. Okay, let me just quickly start off first. Our topic today is caring community, caring government, and this actually is talking about a partnership between a caring community and a caring government. If we have got these elements in there, it will help a lot. But we are adopting a top-down, bottom-up partnership approach towards achieving the SDG. Just want to let you know that our top-down, bottom-up approach touches up to the Selangor state level, and where the EXCO itself is empowering us to work closely with the community. And when the community start working together with the EXCO, the PPTs themselves also will gain to align themselves with what we are doing. So over here, we have health, welfare, and empowerment of ladies. And then after that, we have the social, economic, and Kerajaan Prihatin over here. And perumahan and urban living is also very important. So all together, we work together on this. Now, I just want to talk about the concept that we have here, how to build resilient and sustainable communities through love and partnership. Now, over here, you can see that these are the communities, and this one is not a PPR flat, it's a low-cost flat. But because we have got problems with building management, the whole place has deteriorated until some of the walls are missing, some of the windows are missing. So this is found in PJS area of Prihatin-Kerajaan, and of course over here is the government who's looking after them. So what we need to do is we have to work together under Komuniti Prihatin-Kerajaan, and also how we work together is important. Now let me go over to this part here. Earlier on, you've heard in a lot of talks that every problem that we have, whether it's poverty or something else, requires a lot of issues to be looked at. And these issues are multi-sectorial, multi-dimensional as well. So unless we grab something that is complicated, we cannot solve the problem one at a time. So everything is interrelated. So if you are talking about poverty, then the physical environment, health, the civic behavior of them, the community politics, the work attitude, parenting, economic opportunities, all are involved. So we talk about absolute poverty, multi-dimensional poverty, and at this level, we have got less than 1% of poor people. But recently the UN laboratory came over and found out that at least there's 20% of people that is in poverty. So a multi-dimensional poverty was carried out by UNICEF, and they found that most of the people staying in the PPR flats are actually poor, multi-dimensionally, either health-wise, or it is perhaps education, or just the work life environment there. So some of us are working on low-carbon city. If you put low-carbon city in the center of all this, then you'll be looking at green buildings. You'll be looking at all the other related things regarding low-carbon city. But you cannot look at low-carbon city and say that I'm just dealing with low-carbon city. You're going to touch on some of these things that is going to affect poverty as well. And of course, we also try to get our framework in accordance with the SDG 17 goals. And if you have to look at 17 goals trying to solve poverty, you will find that there is quite a lot of things that we can do over here, like no poverty, livable cities, good health, leave no one behind. Now, SDG is something that all of us are excited about. We have our metrics to measure them. But what is the real result? After measuring all these things, if you look at the community and they're still suffering, then no matter how successful we are in achieving the metrics, KPIs, this doesn't really help. So that's why there was this leave no one behind as the overall theme of the SDG goals. Now this is a very important part. This is how we have been working all the time. Whether you are in the company or whether you are in the government, everybody is working like a circle, spinning very fast, but there is no effect on each other. This can spin very fast, this can spin very good faster, but the overall effect, there's nothing. Unless we are approaching it on this level, where we are spinning, and our spinning actually affects the other person's spinning, and you find that the whole system starts work with the desired results. But it only happens not with activity, but with effectiveness. So how we actually link up together is important. Now, before we come to Sustainable Development Goals SDG, we have already started in 1992 when they gave us local Agenda 21. At this Agenda 21, they already realized that the most important thing that happens is the local authority. The local authority has a lot of influence over whether you're going to stay in a sustainable city or not sustainable city. So, while it started in 1992, EPSN, one of the NGOs, brought it in, introduced it to MPPJ. They took about 2 years to adopt it, and in 2000, the Komuniti Prihatin-Kerajaan adopted it, and they have got 4 test sites. And then in 2002, the local authority says that everyone should adopt it. So that's what they did in 2002. But we finished off at 2012, and then we moved on to 2016. And 2016 is the beginning of Sustainable Development Goals, which is a takeover from the local Agenda 21. Now, why did I talk about history? Because after 10 years, we have achieved and broadcast a lot about local Agenda 21. But what is the impact? What is the effectiveness? How much? It was just another word to promote that there is public participation. So a lot of things that are happening here is actually form. The substance is not there. But there is no urgency at this time. Although they realize that climate change is coming. But around 2016 now, you see the whole world getting warmer. You see extreme temperatures, and you see a new, not war refugees, climate refugees. It will affect every country. When people, especially Bangladesh, start losing their whole country, then you see that they will go somewhere else. Those will be climate refugees. So this is a very important thing, and I don't think we have got very much time to get it right. I think in this period, you don't get it right, you suffer the consequences, right? And this is what we are going to do for our children. This is tricentennial partnership, and this is very much talked about. If you have been in LA21 earlier on, they will all tell you about tricentennial partnership. But talking about it doesn't mean that it will work. The important thing about tricentennial partnership is not that the 3 people are working together. It is how the community works, the business, and the government. It is not the 3 elements here that are important. It is number 1, number 2, number 3. The overlapping areas, whether you can achieve an understanding. The community has been trying to work with government, local authorities, but they do not see the connection there. They find it hard to communicate. The business trying to help the community through CSR. How many of the businesses have moved from ad hoc CSR to strategic CSR? So these are things that we have to look into it. So our approach on this caring government, we use a HIS approach. HIS approach means that we use a holistic approach. We look at the whole big picture, although we're looking at poverty, this is the whole picture, how we solve it. sometimes we talk about helping the poor, sometimes we talk about governance, many other factors, but we know where our missing pieces are. For a long time, we've been going in to help infrastructure, but we haven't worked on the youth. A missing piece is here. But eventually, NGOs will come in, corporates will come in, and they will fill the vacuum for us. So this partnership must be a very sustainable partnership. It must gain momentum as we go along. The other thing is integrated. We cannot have anybody working not in a complete jigsaw puzzle method, but all separate pieces will be useless. If every person do their work in a non-integrated manner, we need to approach a systemic approach and a structured approach as well. Nowadays, when you want to order a taxi, you don't even have to pay the taxi. You just go up, you just come down, everything is done for you, and the receipt is sent to your handphone. Systemic approach. So we need this systemic approach as well to solve problems, whether it is poverty or anything else. So we have got a value chain that we look at, from the urban poor to NGOs, to councillors, to local city council, ADUNs, MPs, state and local federal ministries. If you can link all of them up, the chances of succeeding in developing a community is very high. But often we have got weak link. And once we have got weak link, then you find that sometimes the service delivery is hampered. So all of us must try to be as integrated as possible to complete the service delivery value chain. And what we need to do is we flow like water. Not every community, you find that everyone is cooperating. Some of the important ones where they don't cooperate, leave it alone. Work on those communities that are ready to be empowered. So over here, what we do is we flow from the bottom through the councillors, through the ADUNs, to the local councils, to the state. Sometimes we get a bit of obstacles, the state will help us to clear it, but at the bottom we move up. Not all the councillors will agree with you, you work through those councillors that agree with you. So I want to bring up a concept that's very important, and that will help us to move ahead very fast. This is about our elected politicians. Bottom up, before they were elected, and top down, after they are elected. Now this is how they look like. This is our ADUN before the election. This is our ADUN after the election. Before the election, small boy, but very connected to the ground, lacking muscles. When they are elected, they are full of power, but no time. They have to attend weddings, they have to attend birthdays, funerals, everything. Alright? So, this is the after effect. So, the masses are at the bottom needing attention, and this before, and this they are after. So how are they going to deliver with the power they have? So, very important, these are our ADUN, and these are the NGOs working. All they need to do is empower us. Then they will get a very stable, and they will be able to achieve their role as ADUN as well. So this is a very important concept of a top-down, bottom-up approach. And what we do is we identify with some of those ADUNs and all that are very willing to help the community, but they know that they cannot because they don't have the time. And even for us positioning there, we need to draw the resources of many partners, because you don't address poverty on just one factor. There's so many areas that need to be attended to. So we use the bottom-up, top-down approach at the same time. So, this one final slide, I think. When we are working, later on we have our partners from Deloitte, from Patriots, from Paduan. They'll explain the things that they're doing to help us, something that we can't help ourselves, but they have a specialist area. So in the case of MyPJ, we are trying to connect the government, the business, and the community together. We play a major facilitation role, trying to coordinate to get everyone working together. And that in itself is a very unique skill. Understanding the culture. Sometimes they want to help you, but the culture doesn't respond. So So some of the other people will try to help out to move that. Deloitte, they are in business, and every year they have an impact day. The volunteers will close shop for the whole day, and they will go down to help the community. But does it have a sustainable impact? And how did they change from ad hoc CSR to strategic CSR? And then the people that are retired, our servicemen, that have risked their life for our country, how they come in now to strengthen our community through patriotism. So some of us deal with bridging the work, and some deal with strengthening work. And then of course over here, government and community, there is in every community that you work in, a lot of power dynamics going on. Some can be solved by proper governance framework, some cannot be. So these are all important areas. But over these areas are important areas that haven't come mainstream. Important one is COB, and the COB is a commission of buildings. A lot of community problems stem from the weakness of our commission of buildings, overseeing management of buildings. The pembangunan masyarakat is a very important one, but does it really help, or are they performing activities? Next thing is APPG. I don't know whether you heard of APPG, but the parliament has now encouraged a special committee, all-party grouping, where they focus on sustainable development goals. You will begin to see that every minister, member of parliament, will start to do their work and sort of measure it according to SDG as well. So we started off Komuniti Prihatin in one place and spent a lot of time learning about it. But after that, we replicated into a very difficult area as a Mentari. But after the election, two more experts joined us, and we replicated things very fast. So we find that after working on a pilot project, you begin to identify so many problems that once you solve it, when you go to the next community, what you need to solve in the new community has already been solved. So everything replicates very fast. So that's the model that we have, but we'd like you to hear from our partners how they have done, how they came in, and how we leverage and synergize our work together. I'd like to call on Adrian Lam, Director of